I think you want to be long. And the reason you want to be long, and you saw it from earlier in your program, there's going to be a huge amount of money that's going to be spent, whether it's $1 trillion, $2 trillion, whether it's on infrastructure, whether it's getting money to middle-class America. But trillions of dollars are going to be spent on this economy.
That was billionaire investor Marc Lasry on the Claman Countdown on September 29th of 2020. And boy, was he prescient. Since that day, he told viewers to go long. The Dow is up 25%, NASDAQ up 21%. Look at the S&P, up nearly 33%. However, since the first of this year, red, and more red, with the NASDAQ in particular taking kind of a shellacking here as bond yields surge on the prospect of higher interest rates and more expensive borrowing costs. So now what's Lasry's trade with this new backdrop? Let's ask him. Joining me now in a Fox Business exclusive, Avenue Capital's Marc Lasry, to tell us how he's playing the game this time around. And this time around, I say this because since the start of the year, we've started to see a pullback, and we know what the backdrop is with the Federal Reserve, Mark. What's going on here?
Look, I think now things are just going to be a lot more difficult. They just are. Interest rates are going up. You're going to have, the question is whether GDP remains up a little bit or if it's going to be flat. With everything that's going on in Ukraine, with higher food prices, with higher oil prices, there's just going to be a lot more issues. And when there's a lot more issues, that's not great for the economy, and it's not great for the stock market. So I think what you're going to have, at least over the course of the next 6 months to 9 months, is more issues. So I would, at least for us, there's more opportunities because people need capital. So I think it's going to be difficult in the next 6 months ahead.
Okay, this is so interesting, and I want our viewers to try and buck their fear, because when you told us all to go long, that was September of 2020. The lockdowns were still very much in play. And you said, This is a great opportunity. Now you're saying it's going to be a lot harder. And some people would look at that and say, well, wait a minute, at least we're not in the middle of a pandemic. So they need to flip the narrative in their own minds, do they not? But where is the best opportunity, knowing that rates are going higher?
Well, I think you're going to have opportunities in the energy sector. You're going to have a lot of idiosyncratic opportunities. I mean, things have gotten hit over the course of, the last couple of months. So I would try being a little bit more conservative going forward. You're going to find opportunities. You're going to find things that somehow people get nervous and you'll have more sellers. So those will be the times for you to come in and try to buy. That's what we're trying to do. We're waiting for people to get nervous. We're waiting for people to need liquidity. And when they need that, we'll provide that liquidity, but obviously we'll charge quite a price for that liquidity.
Well, you bring that up, and I want to remind people that one of the trades that you made during the height of the crisis was that you, knowing that airlines were desperate for cash, you bought airplanes from at least one of them. Was it one, or did it end up being two airlines?
Yeah, we bought from a couple airlines. I would tell you those were really good at the time. I think today,
right. Of course,
it's gotten a little harder simply because of where fuel prices have gone. Mm-hmm. We obviously didn't see things happening like they did in the Ukraine, but because of that, fuel prices are going through the roof, and they may even go higher. So that's going to be an issue, and that's actually one of the problems you're having out there today. It's why airlines, you're finding flights get canceled. You're just finding more issues in that space today.
Yeah, well, what you did back then was you gave them cash for their airlines and then their airplanes, and then you turned around and leased them to them at a very nice rate of 16%. A brilliant trade. Yeah. Again, you're a distressed guy, so you look for those chances. You just mentioned idiosyncratic opportunities. Can you define something like that?
Yeah, it's what you'll find. You'll see it either on the real estate side. You'll see it on the tech side. So some of the things like that we're doing today is we're lending money to sort of startups who sort of need capital, where we're doing it at a senior secured level. We're doing things on the impact space where, again, people need capital. So you've got to be, I think, find different opportunities. That's where it's going to be going forward. It's not going to be in just one specific sector. you're gonna find that sometimes people need capital, and when they need that capital, that's when you should come in. And don't be worried about providing that capital as long as you feel that you're getting paid for that risk.
One of the things I also remember back in 2020 was in the middle of the pandemic, the lockdowns, and we all know this, put digital and technology adoption on hyperspeed. Barron's asked you back then, about what you thought would be the post-pandemic opportunities. And I believe back then you said tech would be huge, but we could show you some of the ETFs for technology. And year to date, for example, the Spider Select Tech Fund down about 15%. G-Tech, which is Goldman's future tech leaders, these are ETFs, down 26%. QQQ is down 15%. Where do you see tech now?
I think tech's come in quite a bit. Part of that is simply because a lot of money had flown into that space. So I think what you're seeing now is there's been a repricing, and that repricing actually is pretty positive. So I think now with that new repricing, you're going to see even more opportunities that are there, simply because capital isn't that easy. So the harder capital is to come by, the more opportunity there is because you can charge more for that capital today.
Okay, that was an incorrect ticker we just put up there. It's G-Tech that we should have seen, the Goldman Future Tech. Okay, so putting that aside, I do know that there may be, I don't know, in the way you guys think in the distressed investor world, an opportunity or not with what's going on in Russia. Russia just endured what's called a selective default. The S&P ratings agency is saying that Russia has defaulted on some of its dollar-denominated debt because they insisted that they be paid in rubles. And clearly, nobody's doing that. We've got sanctions, and they can't access their foreign currency reserves. Do you see any opportunities when it comes to that kind of distress that's related in any way, shape, or form to Russia?
I think that's difficult. It really is. And the reason for that is you've got all the different sanctions. I don't want to sort of make geopolitical bets. That's not what we do. And I think that's what people are going to be doing if you're doing that. I think you're taking a lot of risk by doing it. But if it works, you could get paid quite a bit. I just think, that's going to be a binary bet. And if it works, you'll do exceptionally well, but if it doesn't work, you're going to lose all your money. So I think people have to be prepared for that. I think right now for us, when we look at Russia, it's not a place we want to invest in because we just don't know what's going to happen, and I can't tell you what's going to happen.
Understandable. We certainly don't. I mean, we've got now Russian troops on the move coming from the east and out from Belarus back toward Ukraine. We're watching that situation very closely. So your Bucks, your Milwaukee Bucks have secured the third seed, right? The third seed in the NBA playoffs. How do you repeat? You won it all last time.
I think, it's as long as we stay healthy, we're going to have a shot at repeating. I think we've got as good a shot as anybody. I think right now we're favored to win the East. So, we're going to play Chicago. I think that'll be a fun series. But we're going to have 3 tough series ahead. And as long as we're healthy, I think we'll get there. I'm pretty excited about it.
Well, we just want to see the fan fest outside the arena like you did last time. That was so much fun. Are you going to do that again?
Yeah, no, we will, because it's great weather. Last year, everybody loved it. So we'll start up again as soon as the
Oh, so much fun. I remember that we showed so much of this. And look, it's a lot different because now people can actually be inside post-COVID. So we're wishing the Bucks best of luck. Thanks so much, Marc. Good to see you. Please come back.
It was my pleasure. Thanks, Liz. Take care.
Marc Lasry, thank you very much.